Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome and welcome back, KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently up 8.37% to $42,008. Ethereum up 5.82% to $27.33. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. Thank you for being a part of our globally extended family. I really appreciate you being here. If you're going through a life pullback at the moment, please know that our love and healing thoughts are with you. You're not alone. There's always hope, and the sun will come out again. As a community, we focus on maintaining a positive excellence life trend, one of integrity, decency, kindness, courage, and honor. And we focus on inner and outer peace. That's actually what makes money worthwhile and what gives meaning to life as well. Rule 138. All investors become traders every time they buy or sell. Many people classify themselves as investors, never knowing that they're actually traders as well. Crypto technical analysts scientifically track investor attention by a wide variety of means. First thing that they do is mark up the charts with an advancement in candlestick charting called the CTKS methodology. They then look at outside trends, then look back into the crypto market and find the market's focus, because opportunities reset daily. And we can see that so much in the last 24 hours. They get their mindset right, being that of a professional. And crypto technical analysts understand that they are professionals, just like a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a computer scientist, an accountant, a teacher. They're not emotional over what they do. Instead, they're put in the hard work, they have the knowledge, and then they target what they're going to buy and what they're going to sell, and the levels in doing so. The reason that we look at outside trends is because of Rule 225, Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. Many people think that crypto is independent of the stock market, the bond market, and gold. It's not. They're all intercorrelated, and it's really important to understand there's a mutual codependency between different financial markets, and there always will be. When we think about crypto, under $2 trillion in terms of market capitalization, stocks above $120 trillion globally, bond market above 120 trillion as well. Stocks and bonds are very tightly correlated. What hope has crypto have to actually decorrelate? Many people think that because crypto is the next evolution of the internet to the internet of value, and it's basically the ownership layer of that, it's something completely different from the stock market and the bond market and even gold. It's not. It's just an investment vehicle, but a really, really good one. Everything I share with you is the view through the institutional mindset and the smart money mindset. The retail mindset is completely opposite to the smart money mindset, and I'll go into that a little bit later. When we look at the fear gauge of the market, we can see this is the VIX. The VIX has continuously gone up. I was hoping for it to break down below this support level. It's still going up, although it's wobbling a bit. It did come down, which drove prices up in the NASDAQ 100. But please be aware, this is an incredible level of fear. When we get a big reduction in the VIX, that's going to be looking really, really good for crypto. Now we notice that the NASDAQ 100 went up. Bond prices came down. Gold came down. The DXY also came down. Bond yields went up. And this is fantastic that oil has actually retraced. One thing to always bear in mind, when it goes up the wall like this, when you get exponential price action like what we've seen in oil, what we've seen in gold, what we've seen in the US dollar, what we also saw with bond prices, you will get a wave down, and it will be quite violent. Exponential blow-off tops are a characteristic of all markets. You can see what's happening to oil here. This is an exponential price move. This reduction here goes hand in hand with exponential price movements. It's really important to understand that. Many people were piling in on oil, piling in on gold, piling in on bonds. That is a mistake. Professionals don't do that. We wait for the retracement, especially when things are going parabolic. And we also know that the break-even inflation rate has just gone literally bananas. That's a technical term. Rule 74, technicals beat fundamentals. What does the word technicals mean? It just means actual price action. What does the word fundamentals mean? It's the promise or future direction of a particular thing. Technicals, reality always beats promise. We saw the war companies going up, and now they've just retraced a little. This is really, really good for the market. Just as Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity, other stock markets can't escape the US stock market's gravity. That's Rule 217. The reason for this is the US stock market is very large. It is disproportionately larger than any other global stock market. When we look at the US indices, and they're in green here, we can see all stock markets tend to align, well, they do align, when we have black swan events. They all move together, and that's on a global basis. These stock markets are from, for example, Japan, France, China, Russia, Switzerland, Canada, the UK, Australia, and of course the US. And you can see they're all basically moving in the same directional correlation. The big standout, of course, is Russia. Russia's MOEX. Russia has had their market shut down for quite a period of time now, because if they open it, everything will just literally fall apart. The reason that we stack probabilities is we want to understand where Bitcoin can go, and that's because Bitcoin rules the crypto market. If you want to understand what happens to your beloved alts, the answer is Bitcoin. When we look at the Nasdaq 100, which is this green line superimposed across Bitcoin's gravity or Bitcoin's price action, what we actually see is there was a really big tick up in the Nasdaq, and look what happened to Bitcoin. This is why we must look at the main markets. When the main markets are attracting funds, they're attracting investor attention. They will also attract investor attention into the crypto market. What we've actually seen is a really, really big rally. We do have quite substantial resistance playing in from the 45,092 mark. Let's just see how well we go in overtaking that. Bitcoin is currently trading at 41,940. Where could we possibly go between these different ranges? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. One thing that you might like to take note of is this really good, strong support line playing in now at actually above 38,004. That support level has now come up to 38,249 because the gradient or the slope of this support line has increased. So we just lift that support level up. Don't forget that we've got another one down in terms of this resistance line that's become support playing down underneath here. So potentially we could get a movement down to around 36,694 if things go south. But the concept is what we're seeing is very nice degrees of price action. What we don't want to do is to see a collapse in the major US indexes. And like I said previously, the VIX is literally off the charts, and that's not good for anyone. We've seen the gold price coming down from its high level of around 2040 down to 1993. That's a good sign because gold is all about economic instability. We've also seen the bond prices take a real big nosedive. That's also good. Bond prices go up when there's economic instability and when there's a threat inside the financial markets. The fact it's coming down now is a really good thing. But remember, it came up quite substantially. This could be just a normal part of price action, price moving in waves. The safety of the US dollar has decreased as well, with optimism returning back into the market. So we can see the DXY has actually come down. But again, please bear in mind that we've had such a big ramping up. Price is always moving in a wave. We're not out of the woods yet, but it is looking increasingly good. As crypto technical analysts, we always have in advance probabilistic choices made. We know what we're going to do if price goes down, goes up, or goes sideways. Price doesn't catch us off guard because we're waiting for any one of those three eventualities to actually hit. When looking at the crypto fear and greed index, we can see there's still an enormous amount of fear inside the crypto market, even though we got a very nice piece of price momentum upwards. It's still under fear, a lot of fear. Crypto technical analysts understand the volatility of the crypto market, and they don't use leverage trading. In the stock market, you do need to actually use leverage trading because the stock markets just move around so little. In Forex, it's absolutely critical to use leverage trading because things move around in pips. In the crypto market, if you use leverage trading, you'll actually wreck your account because short and long liquidations can happen within the same 15-minute block. Crypto moves around by crazy amounts. It's the most volatile market on the planet. We've seen over the past 24 hours over $200 million worth of liquidations. This is people losing their money because of leverage trading, and it occurred across 47,200 positions. Over the past 24 hours, around 73% of liquidations were short liquidations. And what I was saying, when you can get long and short liquidations in the same movement, this is part and parcel of the crypto movement or the crypto market. Please be aware that you can go short and you can go long, trying to hedge a position in, and you can get wiped out in both directions. We have a saying, friends don't let friends leverage trade. Please do not leverage trade until you absolutely know what you're doing, until you have the knowledge. And even then, it's not advisable. When looking at options for Bitcoin expiring at the end of the month, we can see there's a lot of optimism inside the market. We've got calls all the way up to 40,000. The max paying price, the price at which the majority of the options expire worthless, is 42,000. Crypto technical analysts understand the rules of the financial markets and the rules of wealth and riches. This is really important because our stock is the stock of money. Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. What does this really mean? The easiest way to explain this is you've ever looked at your alt and said, "Beloved alt, what are you doing? You should be going up." Have a look at Bitcoin and see what it's doing. In all probability, if your beloved alt isn't going up, it's probably going down, and Bitcoin is going down as well. That's the gravity. Let's have a look at the top cryptos. When we look at Bitcoin's price action, it's getting up to resistance at around the 44,657 mark if it gets that high. What I've actually done here is to give you a sort of a probabilistic scenario. If we move up inside this green area, we would expect to get resistance around this particular part, the 44,657. If we move down, we would get support around, for example, the 39,096 level. This is just a range, a very, very rough range that I put together to try and give you some sort of contextualization on your beloved alts. Have a look at Ethereum. If Ethereum moves up like Bitcoin moves up, we would expect a price around 29.45. And if it moves down, we would expect support at around 26.04. These are not certainties, and it's really important that you engineer your mind away from the concept of certainty. When people first enter the crypto market, they're addicted to certainty. They're putting money into the market. They're not quite sure how the market works. They haven't spent potentially a lot of time knowing how to trade. Particularly, people spend a lot of time on the fundamentals, definitely. But the problem is, when you get into a crypto, the price reality overrides the price promise. It's like people can come up to you and say, I'll promise you the world, and then they don't deliver. That's kind of like what happens in technical analysis. We look at how the promise translates into reality. In many ways, you can think about fundamental analysis and technical analysis as being the same thing. The only difference is when you look at a chart, you're seeing the reality of the crypto, and you can see that reality is bound by what happens outside the market and outside the crypto market as well. A lot of people do not factor this in, which means they lose money, unfortunately. When we look at KS zone analysis, the 4 stages that all investors and traders progress through to become consistently profitable and attain real wealth, happiness in life. When people move into the crypto market to start with, they inhabit the panic zone. They buy on green, they sell on red, they go all in or all out. They are addicted to the news, and they haven't spent a lot of time actually learning the rules of the market. That's because the rules of the market are really quite difficult to find. You need decades and decades to actually understand how the rules play out. The problem is that inside the panic zone, people are addicted to certainty, and there is no certainty inside the crypto market. Being focused on certainty will just stress you out and lead to you being terrified and having many sleepless nights. This also is applicable in the stock market and the forex market, but it's on steroids when it comes to the crypto market. When people get over the panic zone, when they start to get the courage to learn more, they get into the blame zone. But the problem is that things don't work out. What they were told doesn't happen, and it's because crypto is so incredibly volatile, as well as the fact that you need to know what you're doing. You can just think about it like this. If you're going to play any game, for example, you're going to play tennis, but you don't know the rules of tennis, you're not going to do too well. It's the same inside financial markets. There are a lot of rules, and the first rule is the rule of probability. You need to know that certainty does not exist. It's all about probability. It's all about the weighting of probabilities, and there are many, many rules that you need to know. Zone 1 and Zone 2 are about how to lose money. Zone 3 is how to make money, or more correctly, how to earn money through your knowledge and your skills, through your patience and your rules. In Zone 3, which is what we focus on, Zone 3 and Zone 4. Other crypto channels focus on Zone 1 and Zone 2. The particular influencers, they just wave around like the wind. One day they're selling, one day they're buying, 1 minute they're changing their mind. They don't know what they're doing. And it's really little wonder that they drive their followers into panic and into blame. What is really important is actually learning. Learn as much as you possibly can. And I believe learning technical analysis is one of the most profitable things to do, because price is the reality. Promise is a promise. Price is reality, and reality is what makes the world go round. We have 3-way decision making. We understand the power of percentages, and we know how to use percentages to our advantage. We have patience. We know the rules of the game. We use the CTKS method to mark up our charts. We have a 10-5-10 volatility fund. We just focus on the reality of price. We collect probabilities. We buy on red. And when the time is right, we sell on green. You may have heard the story about Jesse Livermore, the creator of day trading. Jesse Livermore, incredibly brilliant guy, unfortunately ended up committing suicide. At one stage, he was in definitely Zone 3, but he spent his life going between zone 1, zone 2 and zone 3, but never into zone 4, never into a positive excellence life trend. Unfortunately, he ended up taking his own life, and his sons did the same thing. Intergenerational benefits come from actually having integrity, decency, kindness, strength and boundaries, having a positive excellence life trend. That's why we talk about these things on this channel, because money absolutely is critically important, but how you feel is infinitely more so. I need to explain all this because when we look at green zones and red zones, they're probabilistic zones. They are not certainty zones. And that's really, really important to understand. We can see Ethereum, this blue line here is Bitcoin's gravity. Ethereum is following Bitcoin's gravity. And that's exactly what happens to all of the alts. We can see also Binance Coin following Bitcoin's gravity. And this is critically important to understand. If your beloved alt is going up, absolutely there is the association with Bitcoin's directional movement. And the reason that I put in these green and these red areas is to give you an idea, a quantification. For example, if Bitcoin moves up to this resistance level, that's about a 6.52% increase. If it moves down to support, it's about a 6.85% decrease in price. But notice, if Ethereum moves up to a resistance level, and I've kept this one tight, it's about 8.2% compared to Bitcoin's 6.52%. Keep this in mind. And the downward pressure in Bitcoin, 6.85, the downward pressure in Ethereum, 4.2%. So we may see better gearing out of Ethereum than Bitcoin if Bitcoin continues to move up. And that's what it's all about. Binance Coin up 5.5, down 3.2. XRP up 5%, but this could actually go higher. It could come up to a higher level around the 83.22. What I've just done, I always believe in conservatism. Conservatism is really important. Consistency and integrity when it comes to analysis is vitally important. I don't misrepresent things. If you look at here, what we've done is to draw this particular percentage increase to the first level of resistance. I'm doing so here with XRP. We could blast through this and go higher, but I'm keeping everything consistent so you have a consistent pattern. You can see it play out here. And Luna is a little bit different because it's about to go into price discovery. One thing that you always want to look for when you're actually viewing a chart, just think about the integrity of the person that puts it out. If they have low integrity, you really can't trust the chart because they will actually make it fit their version of reality, which could be a retail version of reality, which is generally not the version that you want. When we look at XRP, a 5% increase, a 4.2% decrease. Looking at ADA, Cardano, if Bitcoin comes back to that first level of resistance and we see ADA come back to its first level of resistance too, we could get a 16.8% increase. If it comes down to a level of support, we could get a 5.2% decrease. This is where it really gets interesting, how you can leverage or gear your investments or your trades. Solana, doing the same thing. Again, I'm always being slightly conservative. I would prefer to push things down a little bit than to push things up. That's not the way to go. We always want to just represent what is likely. We don't want to overstretch. So when we look at Sol, it could potentially come up about 17.4% and down 4.26%. We remember always that this is really dependent on what happens to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts to shoot up, if it starts to get above. Now, what happened here with Bitcoin? This is a really good thing to discuss as well. We can see this level of resistance has been hit. It went through. It's coming back to that lower level of support, and it's just trying to accumulate the capability to get through that level of resistance to go to the next one. And this is what cryptos do. It's really good that you understand it. Remember, there are no certainties. Certainties exist in Zone 1 and Zone 2. They lead to terror. We can only do probabilities. Probability is that it may or it may not work. And that's why we make three-way decision making all the time. If we look at AVAX 15.2% up, about 4.5% down. And as I was saying with Luna is reaching price discovery. Let's zoom out and have a look at Luna. We can see Luna has been going up very, very strongly. It reached a peak up here. Let's zoom into that price action. I'm just showing you that it's reaching into price discovery. What we've seen in Luna, we came up to a level of price discovery to the all-time high that was at 103.60. We went a little bit higher to 104.83, but then we came back. Just keep in mind that when things reach a level of price discovery, when they reach an all-time high, we typically get a sellback. And the reason is people get a little bit freaked out, and it's just really normal inside financial markets for this kind of behavior. It's also important to keep in mind Bitcoin's gravity. As Luna was coming up, notice this particular gravitational alignment. See, when we had a big fall, that altered the direction. We can get divergences because the divergence is not quite a divergence. It's an over or under exaggeration of different things. When we get steep sell-offs in Bitcoin, what we see is the entire market does it, but around 1% can escape. When you get an over-exaggeration of particular price momentum inside Bitcoin, that is when you need to pay attention. Things will correlate and decorrelate all the time, but on average you will find that the directional movement of Bitcoin will give you a very good insight. Not all the time. Notice here how Luna went up, and we saw this big spike down in Bitcoin, causing this spike down in Luna. We had a leveling out and an uptick, which leveled out and upticked, but it couldn't keep the gravity because we were coming down. This is what always happens with the crypto space. The gravity will play out all the time in terms, maybe this is easier to see, in terms of what is actually occurring. You can see that probably more realistically like that. Sometimes things become weaker and sometimes they become stronger, just related to the underpinning methods or underpinning news of the particular crypto. But the thing is always, for example, we came down here and Luna's price was impacted, and then we came up and Luna's price was impacted. We came down, Luna held on really, really well, surprisingly well. As crypto technical analysts, we use volatility to our advantage. We place a 10-5-10 fund level inside the market, a buy which is directly, quite substantially below the current price. Now, why do we do that? Why don't we just buy at market? If we buy at market, we're actually wasting tremendous amounts of money. If you buy at market, please do not buy at market. Buying at market is promoted by retail influencers. Professionals never buy at market. Just pay attention to these long spikes down. Can you imagine if, for example, you were looking at Luna and it was over here? Let me just zoom into this particular area. And it was going up and up and up and up, and you said, oh, I've got to go all in and more, because that's what retail influencers would have you believe. And it was going up, and you said, oh no, this is no problem, it's going to the moon. And then suddenly it goes up, but it drops back to under $50 when you were up here at $70. A lot of people would actually panic and sell out there. This is where crypto technical analysts focus. We want these long tail rejections. We want that one. We want that one. We want them all. because it's the perfect way to dollar cost average in. And then when you see a reasonable return, and that is really what you think it is, it could be 10%, 20, 30, 40, whatever it is, it's not important. If you find yourself making 30% returns just each month, or 20% or 10% or 5, they actually accumulate to very good annual percentage increases. And that's something that a lot of zone 1 and zone 2 people know nothing about. We talk about that inside the masterclass. When you're looking towards buying, just think about if you were up here and it was just pummeling up all the way, you can actually always buy lower, even on the way up. But one thing that we try to do is we try to get a particular crypto when it's just starting to turn around. That is the safest place to do it. So what does it mean for Luna if you wanted to get in at the moment? You have to be aware that Luna is really, really spiky. Of course, a brilliant project, no question. Any of the top projects are by nature brilliant. What you will see is any explosion will have an associated implosion at some stage. Even here with Luna, it was doing very, very well. People were saying, it's going to the moon, I'll go all in and more, and then suddenly it just literally collapsed down. For example, that reduction was around 58%. And of course, a lot of people would have been shaken out of their position, because when people buy on green, they end up selling on red. And that's the hallmark of zone 1 and zone 2 behavior. But that's just a level of knowledge. When you understand the game, you actually seek to buy on red and to sell on green. And you can't capture every top and you can't capture every bottom. And it's unimportant because you're looking at the long run. You're looking at stacking percentage gains and just churning and burning them over. And you can do this in all markets. It doesn't have to be a bull market. You can do it in a bear market. And literally we've been under a bear market in terms of negative price momentum for quite some time. It really depends on what happens to Bitcoin's price. If Bitcoin's price starts to go parabolic and we've hammered in some lows and things correct inside the stock market and everything resets and goes back to, okay, I'm happy again, we could see good increases in Luna. But please bear in mind, a lot of people will take profits from Luna. Why is that? Why wouldn't they just keep them in Luna? Because the other cryptos have been hammered. They would want to take a portion, or if you've got traders, maybe all of it out of Luna and put it into something like Solana or ADA, which have been badly beaten down. The beautiful thing with crypto, every crypto gets a seat at the table to rally. It's just a question of when. And when I talked about a bear market, I'm just talking about negative price momentum inside the crypto market. We are still in a bull market. I was explaining before that in zone 3 and zone 4, we understand the nature of percentages. One thing vitally important to understand, when Luna came down 58.8%, when it recovered that previous high, which just happened, it didn't come up 58.07%. It came up 138.19%. This is why professionals always get in when the price is lower. They want to trade when price momentum is negative, and they stack and accumulate. This is the exact opposite of what retail traders and investors do. What tends to happen when markets go down over a protracted period of time, we get superstars like, for example, Luna, that take a lot of the attention of the market. When the market starts to actually recover, superstars can get divergent. Now, what does all this mean? What we need to do is to mark up our charts correctly to understand where price could potentially come back to. We can see with Luna that we have a particular line of support at around the 88.98 mark, but Luna could come down further, even to this 70.88 mark, or even down further to the 52.80 mark. The key is to understand how the dynamics of the crypto market work. And a lot of people don't talk about this. We can get a changing of the guards. We can see that specific cryptos do really well when the overall market is going down. But when the market starts to repair, it starts to go back up, there's a changing of the guards. These things are really important to bear in mind. The most important thing is, don't worry about missing out. There's so many opportunities in the crypto market. And if you're a long-term investor and you really, really like Luna, hey, go for it. That's what it's all about. As a trader, I would not be looking to enter Luna right now. I would be looking to enter Luna back on either the first or the second support lines. I think that they would create reasonable, but the third one is the ultimate one. Third one being down here, this particular one. One thing professional traders, and we know that all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell, professional traders try to get the percentages to move in their direction. You want to be able to buy when price has gone down. When it's gone up, the percentage probability of it going up even further can be problematic, to say the least. What we're actually going to do here, I've put a 14-day time frame on this, and just a little note, come back in 2 weeks and see what happened to Luna. Let's have a look at how this plays out. Of course, Luna could go parabolic, absolutely. It's a fantastic project. And there's many things in the pipeline which make Luna a very attractive project. But as a trader, in seeking to get specific returns, we're really overextended here. That doesn't mean it's not going to go up. It can, absolutely. But there are so many other projects that we can trade. For example, sooner or later, Solana and ADA are going to do their magic. And when they do, that could be really quite interesting. These particular cryptos have been very beaten down, ADA especially, Sol as well, but ADA more so. What it's all about from a trading perspective is to make a return. Investors make a return, traders make a return, and traders will seek to make their returns more often. And it always just depends on what the market is doing. Accumulation trading is kind of a investment style of trading. That's when you actually stack or dollar cost average in because you're looking for a longer term hold. There's many ways to trade. I don't subscribe to day trading. Day trading is just way too stressful. But of course, with all things, whatever you like to do, you should just go with your instincts. Go with the thing that makes you happy. Let's have a look where the market's focus is right now through Rule 32. The link for this website is in the description of this video. What we're actually doing here is we're looking at this percentage column. We're trying to see the price pressure. There's positive price pressure, quite a lot of it on Bitcoin at the moment. Ethereum is not so much, which is interesting in terms of when we looked at the percentages. Let's have a look at the other cryptos. What we can see, ICX definitely has the market's attention. Wave has, Rune has, Ren, Nia, People. These very, very high percentages actually go with upward price momentum. And if we go to the negative side, we don't see much suffering from negative price momentum at the moment. We have a special methodology within the masterclass to identify high-performing alts. Luna is absolutely there. And Luna is a fantastic project full of very, very good sub-projects. It's all coming back to the concept of where you buy. I've said many times, where you buy is infinitely more important than anything else. If you buy correctly, no matter what the kind of market, you'll do really well. But if you buy incorrectly, you buy too high, that could be a problem. Let's have a look. Luna is very, very good, but we've talked a lot about what's happening with Luna. Just be aware of that. Mana, Decentraland is also looking strong, but it's lost a little bit recently. AVAX is looking strong, and we would expect a certain amount of resistance around that 97.71 level. Gala is also very strong, actually getting stronger. Sand has seen a little bit of weakness just recently. IOTEX was strong, is just dropped down in terms of momentum. NIR is looking stronger, and we can see NIR starting to get above its resistance line. That's great. The next resistance we would expect to play out at 1354. Phantom is still underwater, but this is exactly the time that we actually lean in. We want to lean in when the probabilities align with us. Think back to what happened with Luna when it came down all those percents. When it rallied up very, very strongly. Rule 114, markets penalize certainty. Just always remember, get out of zone 1 and zone 2 as fast as you possibly can. The way that you do that is just to get the knowledge. And also to just understand that certainty is literally stress. That's just another word for stress. In episode 453, we heard the news that Andre Cronje was leaving crypto again, and Phantom got somehow caught up with that. The concept was, I actually said, this is a fantastic buying opportunity, and I placed 2 orders in. One at all of these levels, all of these red levels, because we buy on red, are $1,000. And what I did was bought at 133.11 and 131.82 just at different days. I've put another order in just today at 132.62, and that is below price, but I feel that's a pretty good level. I've kept my other levels here as well at 115.56, at 99, at 79.14, and also at 58.81. The really interesting thing, because we have 2 levels that have filled with this particular trade, what I'm going to do is to sell one at about a 25.17% increase, which will just be below this resistance line, and then one outside that resistance line coming up to this level of resistance, which is about 46.49% up. If you actually zoom out, it would be hard for many people to think that you could actually make such a percentage gain when prices come down. And that's just a blip. They are reasonably easy to get because price is always moving in a wave. We've had a wave down. Now it's time to take advantage of a wave up. There's a very specific way to look at the crypto space, and I created the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass to share my 30 plus years inside financial markets. One thing, the really important thing, is to have your foundations in play. What I learned through lecturing statistics first and second year for many years, my students didn't have the foundations. That's why they couldn't build the skyscraper of knowledge. They didn't have the first floor or second floor. It's just like a building. You really need your foundations to build better and better levels. So I spend a lot of time on the foundation section teaching you how to draw those lines. When I refer to this chart, they are the video lessons inside the masterclass, all of these particular things. That's just a way that you can gain more and more knowledge and understand the rules of the game. Understanding the rules is the most important thing. If you understand the rules, you'll do really well because you only have to abide by the rules and then you score the points. That's just how it works. And it works that way in life across everything. The critical thing, the masterclass is rule-based. I discuss rules in every single video, and every video has new information. I just use a thing called exponential learning and just-in-time knowledge to build your knowledge up really slowly to make sure that you understand what is going on one level at a time and just build. Also, we do a living masterclass section. and you'll have years of access to this particular masterclass, and it's constantly updated. Knowing why things are created is very, very important. I explain my reasons creating the masterclass on the testimonials page, and you can see various testimonials from people who have been through the masterclass or are on their way through the masterclass as well. The highest honor in crypto technical analysis is the CTKS Ambassador designation. The ambassadors have shown their dedication and commitment to crypto technical analysis in all its facets, especially the real wealth aspects of integrity, decency, and kindness. Integrity and decency is really, really important. I can't stress enough how important integrity is. Without integrity, people will misrepresent everything to push their own story. We don't do that. Kindness is also incredibly important. When people are kind, they help each other, and that's what we're all about as a community. You can actually come across to www.cryptotechnicalanalysis.org. You can find or reach out to an ambassador of your choosing, and the ambassadors are quite active inside the community. And you can just contact them on Twitter. They can provide something really special, 80% off the masterclass, and they're absolutely wonderful people as well. I'd like to thank all the very kind and generous community members who've reached out and bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/CryptoTradingKS. Thanks so much, everyone. I'd like to say thank you to Rudy. Rudy said, yesterday after 4 weeks of intensive studies, I finished the masterclass. Without any doubt, the CTKS Masterclass is the best and most extensive resource available when it comes to crypto trading. It provides every student with the possibility to easily access Ken's tremendous knowledge of financial markets and its impact and correlation in regards to crypto trading in simple but holistic way. Thank you so much for sharing, Ken. Rudy. Thank you, Rudy, for your very nice comment. And thank you also to Vicente. Vicente, I managed to reach the trigger zone. Wow, fantastic, my friend. Patience is a wonderful gift, absolutely. And thank you to Oscar. Thank you also to Rect. Rex says, I'm currently in the trigger section of the masterclass, but I absolutely love the real wealth section and have to agree that this is the most important section of all. The real wealth section is all about self-mastery, overcoming fear, learning the rules of wealth and riches, and actually it changes people. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful section. Thank you, Rect. It's quite interesting, really, as a mathematician by trade, as a former lecturer in first and second year stats, as a finance holder, as an actuarial science person, I have mathematics as a key focus in my life. And to understand the real wealth section, a lot of people with my kind of brain, a very mathematical kind of brain, would say, Ken, I don't care about real wealth. I don't care about those things. I just want to know, where do I buy? Where do I sell? The question is, when you get successful, if you don't have real wealth, you do not want to end up like Jesse Livermore. Jesse Livermore is an example of how we don't want to live. It's a tragic story. And if Jesse had real wealth, he wouldn't have done what happened. Well, he wouldn't have done what he did, and his children may still be alive as well. And it's precisely because I'm inside the finance industry that I see so many lost souls out there, so many people addicted to having more and more, and they lead very empty lives. We don't want that. We want to lead a very full and a very wealthy and a very rich life in more ways than just money. I'd also like to thank Jim. Thank you very much for your kind comments, and someone for buying me a coffee. That's really nice. Crypto Turtle says some very nice things, and also the masterclass is the best crypto trading course I have ever seen. You show us how to be independent And that is what I love. You need to be independent. You need to make your own decisions on things because only you know what is best for you. Experts do not know your needs. Crypto Turtle says the real wealth section is the best for me. Beautiful. With all the rules about keeping what we made and being positive about life, being kind to ourselves and everyone around us, just beautiful. And thank you to Robert. Robert said, "My son was so thoughtful to tell me to listen to you, your YouTube channel, and how right he was." Thanks, Robert. That's very lovely. Robert said, "I just want to thank you for your holistic view of the crypto world and all the information you share. No fluff and all real insight." Thank you, my friend. That's really nice. And to David Galea, David said, something that's really, really important. It's important to think about your definition of wealth so you can set the right target for you. It's about your financial status, your health, your relationship with your family and friends, your freedom of choice. Very wise words. Thank you, David, for sharing. If you go to buymeacoffee.com/CryptoTradingKS and hit the post section, you'll see free videos that I put out for the very kind and generous people who've bought me a coffee. I've just released the March 2022 Rule 65, price is crowd attention, and you will find many rules also on the Coffee Club. To all those people inside the masterclass, please make sure you do not skip the Real Wealth section. The Real Wealth section is, I believe, the most important section. It just guides you in ways that you could never be guided otherwise. It's really, really, really vital information, and it takes a lifetime to learn. It literally took my entire life to learn this, and sharing it with you will make all the difference. Please let me know what you think will happen with Bitcoin's price. Are you expecting a bullish move to 45,000, a bearish move to 38,000, or above or below? I'd love to hear your thoughts. This current price action just enforces Rule 5. You can always buy lower. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. And there's a lot of scammers out there. I do not use WhatsApp and I don't put my phone number into public comments. So if you see anything like that, it's just a scammer. Just be aware of that and steer clear of them. I also don't invest on behalf of anyone. I want you to invest by yourself with the knowledge. Thank you also to the CTKS ambassadors for mentoring masterclass students. And of course, a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global KS family. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the link to the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. Please search out an ambassador from that website provided in the link in the description of this video, and you can get 80% off. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenario. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.